So we're now going to talk about rate of change. Genesis reads 16 pages on The Fault in Our Stars every day. Julie reads 8 pages every day of the same book. Both situations represent both situations on the graph using the same scale for both axes. So I'm going to say down here is day, and on the side is page, because our days are going to move at the constant pace and they'll read differently and we want it to go up. So we'll call this 1, 2, 3. You get the point. 1, 2, 3. Again, you kind of understand where we're going with that one. And let's see, we need to get through 16 and 8. So maybe count by 2. So this will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Maybe not. Let's count by, let's try by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. And we're going to go by the same scale on this one. I'm not going to label it. So Genesis is reading 16 per day. And Jewel reads 8 per day. So when I go over here, I need to go over to day 1 and up to 16. And then I'm going to go over to day 2 and up to 16, and 16 make 32. And now that I have 2 dots, I can go ahead and make a nice little line. It'll start at 0 because at day 0, we've read 0. And it's going to go up through both of those points. So it should look something like that. When I do Zulie's, she reads 8 per day, which 8 was here. So on day 1, she's at 8. This is 12, 16. And on day 2, 8 plus 8 means 16. And again, since I have all my dots, all we really need is 2 dots to make a line, 2 or 3. And we know we started at 0. Her graph would look like this. And we can see, one, it's pretty obvious, 16 pages is a lot more than 8 pages. But as well, now we can have a visual representation. The steeper the line, the quicker you're going, which means the bigger number. So let's move on to the next one. Aaron loves cherry Coke. Each mini can contains 100 calories. Jacoby likes to munch on carrot sticks. And each pack contains 40 calories. So we're going to do the same thing we did above. Let's go ahead and graph it. So Aaron is at 100 calories. And Jacoby is at 40 cals. On the bottom, again, I'm going to go with counting by ones and say this is going to be how much we consume. And on the side will be calories. So it's just going to go 1, oops, not 2, 1, 3, 5, 7, and over here again, 1, 3, 5, 7. And we need to get up to 100. There's 1, 2, 3. We can count by 10s. Let's try 10. So we'll go 10, 20. I'm going to label every other. This is 30, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 1, 10. $30, 10. So now when Aaron has eaten or drank one thing, he goes all the way up to 110 calories. Now, obviously I should have numbered this a little bit differently because typically I'd like to have 2 dots. So like 200 would be somewhere way up here. But since I have that 0 point as well, As long as I can guarantee that first dot is correct, then we should be pretty good. So you can see his is going to look something like that. Not exact because my dot's not perfect. There, it's a little bit better. And now Jacoby, we can do more than one. So he's at 40 first. And then when he eats his second snack, he's at 80. His worked out a little nicer. But again, I'm just going to start at 0, 0 and draw my line. So to get this graph, we are using the rate of change for the given situation. So for those 4 graphs that we did, the first one and the second one, we did pages per day. And then on the second one, I said consumed per calories. No, I'm doing this right. Okay, second guessing myself. Calories per consumed. We could say calories per this would be soda can, and calories per carrot. We put X and then Y. And if you don't like soda and carrot, then we could also just say consumed food, like per food eaten. Well, I guess that one would be drank. This is called the slope of a line. This is something we've already started talking about. And we know how to find slope. We have to do rise over run, or our change in X divided by our change in Y. Now, when we look at this graph, we need to figure out what is the slope and what does it mean. So what I need to do is find 2 points on the line where they both cross this intersection. This one's pretty easy. I could use this point. I could use from 0, 0 to 150. I just realized I labeled all these wrong. This is an X over Y. This is Y divided by X, as we just talked about. Whoops. So I go over 1 and up 50. Because this is counting by 50s, which means we do Y divided by X. So we would do 50 divided by 1, 50 miles divided by 1 hour. And that means I'm traveling 50 miles per hour. And that means that every hour I travel 50 miles. Now, when we look at this graph, it wants to know what is the rate of change. So I'm going to connect my dots because for some reason it helps me a little bit. And I am going to go from here to here, because I like to stick where I know exactly what this is. For souvenirs purchased, I assume this number is 9, but I'm not 100% sure, which is why I stick always to where it crosses perfectly. So we're going over 1, 2, because this is counting by 1, so over 2, and it's counting by 2s up. So we go 2, 4, 6 up. So our rate of change is going to be 6 souvenirs per 2 days, which means 3 per day. And it represents 3 souvenirs purchased each day. We're going to keep on going. We have a lot of these that we can go over. This will probably be the last one that I do, though, for you. Freedom High School collected data on the GPA of several students throughout the school and the number of hours that they spent studying each week. The scatter plot of the data shown is with the best fit line. So best fit means it's closest to the most. What is the slope of that line? I can start at 0 and it goes over to 0.5. So I'm going to actually use that slope, which means I go over 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is at 0.4 to 5, 6. 4 to 6 means 0.2. So 0.2 GPA per 1 hour, which means it's going to be 0.2 over 1, which is really 0.2. And what does that mean? That means for every 1 hour we spend studying, we gain 0.2 GPA, or everyone else. We'll say +2 for GPA every hour you study. And that was for the average student. That was for the majority of them. Because notice there are some people that are outliers, like this guy's got 1 for every 1 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. There is a worksheet that you are going to be expected to complete. It is on Schoology. Make sure you go ahead and complete that and turn it in.